Patriots, mount up. Hello, salty dogs. Welcome to the Salty Sailor Live. I'm your honored but humble host, the Salty Sailor. Talking to you live from my bunker in sunny AZ. It is Friday, February 4th, 2021, at 7 o'clock of a new patriotic republic. Episode 7, I believe, is going to be called, we're going to leave it plain. Let's just get into it. Breaking news. I have a lot of news to get into today, guys, so I'm going to try to kind of go through this. I did find an article that extremely infuriated me, but I'm going to try to calm down while I'm reading it. But I'm going to do something first before I do that. Report. AOC was not inside the Capitol building during the breach. AOC responds essentially report manipulative Newsweek issues corrected after GOP rep slams them or feigning the fictitious news flames. So she is essentially freaking out right now and telling Facebook and Twitter to crack down on these people spreading scandalous lies. Well, I'll tell you what there, Missy. When you don't know the difference between the Capitol building and where you actually stand, it's a different story. There's multiple reports from different news sources. Not only that, a representative that has an office 2 doors down from her went on Twitter and claimed that there was no such thing that AOC is claiming. I'm sensing a little drama action and a little drama queen action. Maybe instead of focusing on trying to get Twitter followers, you actually do your job. Jesus. Anyway, moving forward. This is what infuriated me today, and I'm all riled up tonight about after reading it. Basically, the new guy that Biden created to be in charge of, I don't know his name. I don't even care, quite honestly. But basically ordered a stand down for 60 days, okay? He wants to essentially, he thinks there's rampant extremism going on in the military. So, again, let's be dictators and try to dictate how the military gets their motivation, right? So, in a free society, you and I, right, we have difference of opinion, and like adults, we solve those differences of opinion, whether you're left or right. You know what? That's why we have free speech, and that's why America the way it is, right? Correct. We can have their own opinions. Apparently, troops cannot. If you're not loyal to the left side, then if you've ever showed anything in the past in terms of, I don't know, support for Donald Trump, support for the conservative viewpoint, whatever the case may be, they are now starting to weed through those people and axing them out of the military. So let's get this straight. You can have an extremely loyal, conservative soldier that you deem as an extremist, so you're going to kick him out of the military. Basically, this article says an Army commander recently briefed U.S. Special Forces candidates, mind you, Special Forces candidates and their trainees, they could be detained or chaptered out of the Army if they are found affiliated with certain imagery popular on the political right. That is now considered to be associated with extremism. Apologize. Breitbart News can exclusively reveal supporters of the Three Percenters idea claim it stands for the 3% of American patriots who fought the British during the American Revolutionary War. It has nothing to do with extremists. How about instead of taking out history out of high schools and actually teach people what the true American history was, maybe you wouldn't have those issues. You idiots. There's a reason why these people are going, they're constitutionalists. They believe in the Constitution. This isn't extremism. Why do we have to follow what way you choose things? Why don't you have your own way? I'm not telling you how to run your life. Don't tell me how to run mine. That's why we're in a free society. This is becoming disgusting day after day that this stupid regime is in office. Ugh. Anyway, a website group claiming to be the original 3%er states, we are not racist, nor are we white supremacists. We are not anti-government. Some reports say the group has tried to stop violence at rallies. Soldiers allegedly walked away from the briefing stunned. Some of them are now trying to remove past social media posts or are deleting their social media accounts, while others feel they did nothing wrong and are refusing to do so. This is the time that I feared would come. This is the beginning, the source said. And yes, it is the beginning. This is showing you what is going on. Quit being so blind based on hate that you have to do this to other people. It is ridiculous. Grow up and grow a pair. On nicer news, it's official. Despite numerous hurdles, President Trump, and yes, President Trump, shattered a record for the greatest market increase in U.S. history. With all the hurdles, all these people trying to impeach him, still trying to impeach him, when they're trying to impeach a president that's not even in office, still going on over and over again, same repetitive thing, and he still shatters the record for the greatest market increase in U.S. history. Well, according to a certain news source, I'm not going to say the name because now certain people or social media platforms are censoring the name of them because they have this. Basically, it says we got it. TGP to release the smoking gun video from the TCF Center in Detroit. It says, update, oh boy, our report will shake the political world. Well, this happened, and I'll read you a brief excerpt of it. Obviously, like I've told you in yesterday's podcast, none of this has went away. There's still stuff going on right now as we are currently standing. Lawsuits, election turnover, it's happening. It's still going on. It's been taking forever, obviously. But this is still ongoing. And again, keep in mind on the big picture of things, Trump never conceded. So I don't know if it's going to become of anything, but this is all going to become to fruition. So here it is. I posted on my Facebook page, but let me kind of read you a brief little excerpt of it. But basically, they're going to release a report tomorrow. As previously reported on November 3rd, President Trump was ahead of Joe Biden in Michigan by over 100,000 votes. The ballot counting in Detroit on election night took place at the TFC Center, formerly known as Cobo Hall. Basically, if you remember correctly, back then, this is all reported, so this is in fact fiction or whatever. This is me just reading an article. I have to put that out there for those fact checkers, of course. Basically, the Detroit city officials put cardboard over the windows to prevent the GOP observers from seeing in. Right? So there's a big stink about that. No, where's the proof? Show us the proof. At least 3 election observers testified in sworn affidavits that they witnessed vehicles delivering fraudulent ballots to the TCF Center early morning of November 4th. Until now, no one has bothered to review the video footage from the TCF Center on election night. So, after multiple times of asking, whatever case may be, they finally got the videotapes of this. Now, this is between the hours of 3:30 and 4 a.m., okay? Remember, there was supposedly none of this was supposed to go on, okay? So, basically, it cost this certain newspaper, they requested the TCF video back in December, so we are now, it's 2 months ago, okay? They physically had to pay $22,000 for 1 day's worth of video, but it looks like they requested 2 hours of video, but they got the whole day's worth, basically. They've been nearly waiting 2 months for this video, and it's going to be released tomorrow. So we are actually going to see, and you're going to actually see proof, like everyone's been asking for fraudulent election. This is in Michigan, guys, in Michigan. So that's already happening in Michigan on that note, right? So you got that going on. In my great state of Arizona, which is I'm very proud of the Arizona State Senate for doing this. Hold on, my computer's slow. Pardon me. Arizona Senate drafts resolution threatening arrest of Maricopa County Board of Supervisors for not handing over requested election machines and ballots. They've been I can't even say that. I'm sorry. They have been basically holding these things, Dominion machines hostage and these ballots because they don't want it to get audited, basically, which if it gets audited, it shows the proof, right? So basically, here it is. For some reason, the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors would rather go to jail than hand over voting machines and ballots in their county to the Arizona Senate for purposes of performing a forensic audit of machines and ballots from the 2020 election. Republicans who control the Senate are moving ahead with their threat to pass contempt resolution finding Maricopa County has failed to comply with subpoena. They actually had a subpoena demanding access to elections equipment and ballots cast in November election. Basically, it was our taxpayer money that funded these machines, but that's a whole nother story. So essentially what's going to happen is by next week, if these guys don't turn over these these fraudulent ballots and these machines for the audit, the Senate is going to arrest him. So here's the funny thing with that. They're literally going to have the Master of Arms in Senate, and he's legally able to do so, go and start arresting these Maricopa County Board Supervisors. So someone's going to cave, right? I pretty much think it's not going to be just a guess, but the state Senate. So here's the funny thing. They're obviously hiding something, as you can tell, because there's fraud there. They can all go to jail anyway, but now they're potentially going to go to jail based on contempt. So here's the funny thing. It's like a domino effect. If they do this, and this is legit. So like if it happens next week, we're gonna know, right? You're gonna start seeing arrests there in Arizona. This is gonna obviously be well publicized and all over the states, right? Then you're gonna have other states starting to do this, right? And then that's when the dominoes or Pandora's box opens. That's why if you notice in the impeachment trial, these guys are trying to kind of like, no, don't talk about the sham impeachment or election fraud. This is why it's all starting to come to fruition, guys. It's kind of exciting and kind of it just drives you nuts to think of all the corruption that went on. But besides that, this is actually happening and what's going on. All right, so that was that part of it. Okay, so another point in the news was House Republicans begin the effort to remove Democrat Ilhan Omar from committees. First of all, regardless, and to be fair, they're only doing this because Marjorie Taylor Greene was taken off all committees today. They voted her out basically to off all committees, right? So essentially, this is Republicans' get back, if you want to say. However, this woman should have been done a long time ago. First of all, she should have never held office with ties to ISIS. Number one, I can go on and on about this woman, but the fact that she's still around and hasn't been kicked out for her anti-Semitic remarks. It's ridiculous. The point that she's still there. She should be gone a long time ago. So, good. I hope she gets off of all committees. I hope she's rendered worthless like she really is, and we can all move on from her. And that's enough that she needs. She made anti-Semitic statements during her first 2 years in Congress. In fact, GOP is arguing like she mentioned Jewish people. She mentioned, what was the other ethnic? Anyway, she was constantly on them about that, and they shouldn't be allowed here, and blah 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 blah. And she's still on these committees. She was even, in fact, on the finance committee. Hello, what is going on, America? Rip Van Biden's press secretary. I think her name is Jen Psaki. Which, if you saw her, yeah. Anyway, moving on. She faces backlash for disgraceful remark appearing to mock branch of U.S. military. Psaki was asked about Democrat President Joe Biden's plans were in regards to Space Force, essentially, whether he wanted to keep the new military branch. This is her statement in quotes. Wow, Space Force? It's the plan. Instead of plan, it's the plane of today. Psaki responded, "This is an interesting question. I'm happy to check with our Space Force point of contact. I'm not sure who that is. I will find out and see if we have an update on that." First of all, are you not the president's press secretary? Number one. Number two, in what planet are you not aware that Space Force is part of the military branch? Were you lost? Are you not educated to understand? Like, where did you come from? So basically, it goes to say in the article, Psaki's comments are an apparent reference to previous questions from reporters about whether Biden administration would change the colors on Air Force One. Okay, first of all, why? No president has done it. Why? Why does there need to be a need of change? Rep. Mike Rogers of Alabama, the House Armed Services Committee top Republican, demanded that Psaki apologize for her remark. Which I see why. She's an idiot. It's concerning to see the Biden administration's press secretary blatantly diminish an entire branch of our military as the punchline of a joke, which I'm sure China would find funny, Rogers said. The Space Force was passed with near unanimous support in Congress, the same type of unity President Biden is supposedly working towards. Jen Psaki needs to immediately apologize to the men and women of the Space Force for the disgraceful comment. This is also coming from the same Jen Psaki that was caught wearing a Russian fur hat with a hammer and a sickle on it. Same one. I digress. Political. Governor Gavin Newsom recall now unavoidable. The campaign to remove California Governor Gavin Newsom from office has gone from unlikely to unavoidable, according to Politico. Now, mind you, Politico is not a conservative newspaper. Hello. The Political news website pointed out to the Democrats plummeting approval numbers combined with mounting frustrations over businesses closing, which I kind of mentioned in my podcast yesterday. Here's another kicker. Yesterday, I had mentioned the numbers at 1.3 million signatures they already had, and they needed 1.5 to kick him out, right? As of literally like an hour ago after I did my last research, it's up to 1.4 million. They literally gained that much in the span of what, 24 hours? This dude is gone. He's dead. California, you should rejoice. Hallelujah. Good for you. Moving on. Next thing in the news: McConnell to force Dems to vote on uncomfortable issues. Some of these titles are just funny. But essentially, what he's going to do is this new stimulus bill that's upcoming. Essentially, there's some obviously like they always do. They throw a bunch of like random crap in there, and one of this thing is basically that as we're getting our stimulus, okay, um, why are we going to pay for illegal immigrants? Just out of curiosity, why are we paying for illegal immigrants? This is what's in this bill. Uh, I don't get it. Please help me understand that. So if you could help me understand that, let me know. Send a comment, whatever the case may be, because I'm very interested in that. But anyway, moving on. I'm just gonna give you brief highlights. Let you guys determine right from wrong there. Um, Biden to freeze Trump order to withdraw of U.S. troops from Germany. Basically, Trump is going around trying obviously to reduce um, our presence kind of overseas. A lot of presence out there, kind of reduce the military forces that way, and kind of bring them more inbound home. Let's say we need to stop being the world's police. That was his goal, was kind of bring more military men home. Of course, Biden decides to freeze it. Why is he deciding to freeze it? Well, there's a couple of reasons why, but let me just make it easy. He's already putting troops in Syria, okay? And he needs presence over there just in case if he rocks the boat, basically, which he's already starting to do. The peace in basically he's anticipating that Iran's going to get the nuke, which he's helping to do with. It's already shown there. On top of that, once we stop the fracking, which he did, we're going to be dependent on foreign oil, which is going to set the Middle East off yet again. And you guys voted for this guy. Senator I think his name is Cornyn. Biden must make a choice on reopening school. Basically, President Joe Biden's COVID-19 relief bill contains $160 billion for schools, but it should not be improved unless there's a condition that the nation's classrooms are reopened. And Biden himself must choose between science and teachers' unions. Guys, the problem is the further that we close schools, the further behind our kids get, right? It's common sense, right? So the further you have parents like myself trying to teach these kids stuff that we learned when, 25 years ago, that's not applicable to today's math, science, anything, right? So essentially, you're going to have students far behind. The problem is now it's got a net effect. Not only are you going to have older students far behind, you're going to have younger students far behind. So by the time these kids get to college age, they're already way behind the eight ball. So then what happens there? Then we have businesses and companies now that are far. It's like a chain effect. It starts from the business all the way down, and it goes based on this. Like this is already happening. I don't understand why we're still in lockdown, people. I mean, obviously, like it doesn't make sense, guys. It doesn't make sense. Moving on. House impeachment managers ask Trump to testify under oath. House impeachment managers are asking former President Donald Trump to provide testimony under oath about his conduct before the violent breach of the Capitol and rioting on January 6th. Couple things with this, okay? Let's just start off the basics. First of all, if you remember correctly, this whole impeachment sham that's happening right now was based on his speech that they said caused the rioting in the Capitol building. Number one, that's already been proven false, number one. Number two, if you mention in his statements, he says peaceful walk, right? He doesn't say let's go break windows. He never said that, right? So that's first and foremost. That's number one. Number two, now they're saying all the speeches and all that up until the speech at the Capitol is what caused the Capitol to happen. That's their claim to fame now, right? Nancy Pelosi went on frickin' 60 Minutes. Is like, oh my God, I was so terrified. Oh, during the whole time. Bull crap, you idiot. First of all, you were mad at the cops that pulled you away, number one. So there's that. So beyond that. Um, it's ridiculous. Like they're seriously pandering. And the fact that they went and did this whole spiel, unfortunately for the officer that lost his life there, that was just in itself a whole nother thing, right? Here's a question I want to propose to you guys, just curiosity. Everyone that talks crap about Trump, right? While selfishly donating his $400,000 annual salary over 4 years, so $100,000 a year basically, to various charities, President Trump lost $2 billion in wealth saving the country by doing that, right? I want one person, just one, to ask President Biden to take that same pay cut. Let's see what he says. Just curious. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Another thing cool that's happening, the United States should follow. So basically, North Dakota and Florida, in dealing with unconstitutional executive orders on social media censorship, have decided to take a stand, essentially. Basically, what they're going to do is, if like a political candidate tries to run in Florida or even North Dakota, if they start censoring them, they're going to be fined $100,000 a day for every time they try to censor somebody relating to, like trying to run for office or try to preach the conservative word, right? North Dakota and Florida, the only ones are doing it right now. You just need more red states to jump in. Arizona, because it's still red. I don't care what they say. We're going to find out later. But regardless, to start following in line with that. And I guarantee you that these guys are going to, money talks, guys. And what's that old saying? Money talks and bullshit walks? Well, you got it right there. What else is in the news that I can tell you? I'm just trying to see if there's anything pressing that demands attention. Yeah, I got it on my Facebook. AOC caught in a lie, lashes out and demands social media giants stop users from fact checking what she says. Why? They do it for the right. Why can't we do it for the left? What's wrong? Are you having a case of liabilities? um, let's see. Just trying to see if there's anything else for you real quick while I'm looking at it. That's it for now, guys. We'll just leave that alone for now. I wanna really dive in next time we talk. Next live show. I want to see what happens with this video. Things that happen. Once it's released tomorrow. See if it has any net effect. If anything's going to happen from that. I believe that things are starting to turn. I think that they're starting to turn for the better. I think you're seeing it really. You're seeing a lot of talk, guys. A lot of talk on that. The fact that with Biden and his shaky hand, his signature, his dictatorship, he has to come out and physically say he's not a dictator. That just goes to show you, if he's having to come out and say I'm not a dictator, word's getting back to him, right? Like that, it's common sense, guys. Why would you defend something if you weren't one? Then why are you needing to defend it? These guys have focus groups. They're paying attention to all this crap, right? They see it. So the more we keep fighting, the more we keep pushing things. I mean, if things change, great. If they don't, they don't. I'm not saying Trump is riding in here on a white horse. Never have. All I'm saying is that, but, however, if a lot of these states follow suit that Arizona is going to do next week, and if this actually happens, you're going to have a domino effect, guys. I mean, because there was a lot of, like, I read in the, I think it was episode 5, I think I read all the states that were in Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin is another one. Like there's still these pending suits going on. These are the states that Trump supposedly, with quotation marks in the air, lost. But in reality, if they get turned over, we're looking at a different thing. Now, how does that work? Not really sure. Realistically, he wouldn't be considered president. And quite frankly, if he's not signing executive orders anyway, none of that, all that's null and void anyway. So it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Is it much to do about nothing? Who knows? I do know one thing. I do know that this will never happen again. So, I mean, at least you got that going for us, right? And we literally have to suffer through well, depends on when Kamala, I don't even want to say her nickname, but Kamala Harris takes over for Joe Biden on the 25th Amendment, right? Who knows? We'll have to suck it up for 3 years and then hope a conservative comes in the party, right? I'm hearing Trump wants to run again in 2024. 74 million voters. Who's going to run against him? Kamala? That's not going to happen. Anyway, final thoughts for today's show. Again, I've gotten no commentary from you guys in terms of the questions I submitted last week, so I'm going to kind of move on to other ones. How do we teach our kids the law of common sense? The professors these students hear from are paid off by a fund funded by George Soros and the demos, right? We have to unlearn this ideal and teach our kids the right path. And where I'm going with this is work ethic is one of the examples, right? I don't know if you've noticed this. I mean, millennials still had some work ethic, albeit small, but they still had some. These Gen Zers coming behind us, they're basically asking for handouts at every turn. Everything has a net effect, right? So like if you raise the minimum wage to $15, we all know that has a net effect overall, right? This thing that they're introducing, I want to get more into it tomorrow, so I just briefly want to touch on it. I'm going to wipe out student debt. Okay, granted, I have student debt. That would be fantastic. Like it sounds all great. But ultimately, when you dig into it, it doesn't. It raises our taxes. We're all going to funnel money out of that. Plus, not only that, it affects our Social Security. If you're a Gen Xer like me, that's going to affect our Social Security down the road. This all has a net effect, and it goes backwards. So yeah, you may get awesomeness on this side, but then on the back end of it, you're going to get the crap. You're going to get the shaft. So I don't understand why these people don't get it. We need to reteach history, guys. I probably can count on one hand how many millennials I know that know the Constitution, that had history in their school, that said the Pledge of Allegiance, that thought that they took out Under God out of the anthem, then it became without it, and now it's gone. Like, what's next, guys? We are slowly eroding our country daily. The good news is we have protections in place in the Constitution to alleviate this. Even if Biden goes crazy in his dictator run, we have a way to alleviate this. But guys, come on. We have to get back into this. It's our jobs now as Gen Xers to really teach our kids morals, sense of self-worth. No more participation trophies. There is a winner and a loser. There is a boy and a girl. How about that? Like, we got to start integrating our kids back into a normal society, guys. I mean, they've had their run, right? These Democrats have done this for, 20 years now? Well, close to, of putting these ideals in play. Now it's our job to erode that and crack the nugget, right? So hopefully, I pray for our future. Honestly, guys, even our kids, man. I mean, they're going to be... I mean, my daughter's a prime example. She's been at her job 6 months, been promoted 4 times because she has work ethic. No one else wants to work. So, of course, she's going to get promoted because management looks at her and goes, oh, yeah, okay. That's the example I'm talking about. We need to get back to that. Kids with chores, all that stuff. Anyway, all right. I'm sorry. I've went a little over how long I wanted to be. Action items. Again, appreciate it if you like, share, have watch parties on the Salty Sailor Nation. Please leave me messages. Please reach out to me at saltysailor@saltysailornation.com. Any commentary, anything you want me to add to the show would be much appreciated. Again, as always, this show is dedicated to all the first responders and essential employees. You all deserve a shout out. To all my brothers and sisters in the armed forces, both here and abroad, past and present, stay frosty and please stay safe. I apologize for this random stuff that's coming down the pike. That's just worst thing I've ever heard, honestly. Anyway, thank you, Salty Dogs, for listening. Feel free to leave messages, and I'll play them in future podcasts. Keep the faith, Salty Dogs, and hold the line, the Salty Sailor. Peace out.